Welcome to today's episode of Blending Fab, a podcast all about relationships where we explore expectations and lessons learned along the way. To keep up to date with what's coming up, be sure to follow us on Instagram at blending_fab. Let's get straight into it.
Question. What are your thoughts on girls proposing?
Well, I'm old-fashioned. I am old-fashioned, meaning I don't believe that it's a woman's place to propose. I don't like it. I don't even like watching the women do it. My heart drops because I'm like, girl, you felt like you had to be the one. I'm like, I believe a man is supposed to be the one to propose each and every time. You could bring it up, you could talk about it, make sure you have those marriage conversations before the relationship gets a certain, too far. But he should definitely be the one to get the ring, plan the proposal, and ask the question, not you.
Not you. It's such a hot topic because so many people feel like the world has changed, so girls can do it. And I was talking to somebody about females shooting their shot, and they were like, some things I feel like the guy should do. I was like, so there is a season now where you can shoot your shot. You don't have to keep it going. You want to at least show that you are interested, because both playing fields can be shy. And nobody wants to be rejected. So you shooting your shot is one thing. You proposing is something totally different. So yeah, totally different. And shooting your shot has limits too. I mean, it's not that you're saying you're supposed to go above and beyond doing all of these sky's the limit. Yes, the sky's the limit, but also where you still allow him to lead.
Exactly. I think a man should lead. A man wants to lead. So don't take that from him. Let him lead. If he doesn't, for whatever reason, take that as a sign. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. He's supposed to lead. If he don't want to lead and he don't want to take it there, don't force it, please, ma'am. Because you'll end up breaking up later anyway. Because that means he wasn't invested.
Mm-hmm. It's a sign. And why do we miss these signs, you think?
Because we like the romance, we like the Hollywood fantasy. We like to see, what we want, and we as women control things sometimes. And unfortunately, that ain't the wisest thing to do. Let it flow, let it happen. When it happens, it will happen if it's meant to be. If not, don't go forcing it.
Now you're saying some things if it's meant to be, because in some of our heads, right, we'd be like, this is the one, I know it, because I'm getting these vibes or whatever like this, and things start, and we put ourselves on a roller coaster for sure, many times. But also saying, like, I get if it's meant to be, it'll be. I love the song by Reba and them saying, if it's meant to be, it'll be. But also in having that mindset, we also can't be nonchalant, like not doing our part to even try to make it work too, which is a whole pot on its own of how much effort is too much effort and not enough effort.
Right. Every relationship is going to require work. So you can't be nonchalant. You have to be willing to put the work in, especially if you want a good relationship. But you got to let it flow.
And that's a process.
Yes.
That we don't. It boils down to communication too.
Yeah.
Of knowing what's going on. Because if not, you can make up something in your head and that's not what it is. Or you have in your head that it's not this, and they was like, oh no, this is this. Like, wait, I didn't know.
Right.
And that's a
process. But also
too.
understanding the opposite sex, understanding how men think, understanding how they operate, understanding. And if you don't understand, don't wait until you're in a relationship to try to figure it out. Do your research, do your homework. You're related to some. You work with some. You go to church with some. You walk down the street there. You live near some. So do your research. Ask some questions, find out. Don't leave it to being in a relationship till you find out all this information, and
Mhm.
now it's based off of communication. No, that's not the only way to do it. Like do some homework first, grow mature, and ask questions. Seek, figure it out, study. I have a lot of male friends, and I mean, not a lot of male friends, but I have enough male friends who are very diverse in who they are, their careers, their hopes, dreams, their aspirations. But there are some things that they all have in common. And I have learned how men think,
Tell me
how
more.
women. So,
And they're eager to share. If you really ask them, they are eager to share.
yeah, they don't hide like we do.
Well, now I will say when Steve Harvey came out with "Act Like a Man, Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man,"
Yes,
some might have been upset, but when it
because
came back around, it was beneficial.
yeah, for both sides though,
Hmm.
for both
Hmm.
for a woman to understand how men think in given situations, which
Hmm.
is necessary if you're planning on being in a relationship with this type of person. You
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
understand how and what men generally want. Not all men are the same. We know that. Not all
Hmm.
men, but in a general sense, if most men kind of think and act and believe the same way, and their behaviors are the same. So learn that, pick up on that.
Hmm.
It might benefit you.
And that's good. The behaviors are the same. It makes me think of Sheila when she drove up that mountain to go be with her husband who left her hanging and things of that sort. Because sometimes they'll be giving you signs, they'll be clearly letting you know that they're not interested anymore or something went on track and you're trying to do everything you can to make it work. And they're already like, no, we don't pay attention.
Right,
And then we
right.
mess up and heartbroken, crying.
hmm Been there, done that. We
Me
be in our
too.
feelings like ocean.
I got the t-shirt, okay? Um,
Hello.
but after you had been there, then you find out what your standards are and what it is that you like. So how would you say your road has been in finding out what it is that you like and what you require in relationships?
Okay, so there's two things that come to mind for me. One that helped me develop my standards was um, as a teenager, I was um, kind of influenced by a couple women preachers and mentors who they weren't trying to necessarily guide me in relationships, but they want, and it wasn't just me, just being a teenager in a group of young people, but it was really about they wanted us to have a standard. Like for instance, one thing that was always said to us that just stuck with me was take yourself to Paris first. Buy yourself a diamond first. Take yourself on a trip. Buy yourself something luxurious. Treat yourself like take yourself out on a date first before you go expecting a man to do all of this stuff for you. There's benefits to that. You know what you like because you're with yourself. If you don't like being with yourself, how you expect somebody else gonna like being with you? Uh, just saying. So that resonated with me. That stuck with me. And then, of course, the other part that stuck with me that helped me develop standards was doing it the wrong way, not taking relationships seriously, and then not taking my role in relationships seriously and what I potentially could experience and enjoy in a relationship. I didn't value it. And once I got to a certain age, and I'm going to say once I became a mom, I am a single mom. My son just turned 15. Jesus. Pause for my heart attack. But I want to say once he came along, I now had to be more open minded about my relationships because I never wanted to be married. I never wanted children and I never wanted to be married. And the only way that a child was supposed to come was if I was married. So neither one of them was supposed to happen. And then one of them happened out of sequence and that messed everything up. And so then I
Oh,
had to reevaluate. And that definitely made me think, okay, what do you actually want? What do I want in a mate? What do I want to tolerate? Especially because there's a certain type of guy that I was attracted to who I felt was never attracted to me. And there's this one caliber of man who's always approaching me. And I'm like, why? I don't even like you. But those two major things helped me to develop a standard. So now I know what I want. I know what I want from a mate. I do
mhm,
not desire to be married still, but I'm more open to it
mhm.
because I can now know what I want from a mate. So if you come to the table with XYZ, I might give you the time of day. We can talk, but you gotta still convince me. But that's a story. That's another.
So I love the fact that you had mentors that were encouraging you to have standards, and weren't shy around talking about relationships, right? Because some people are like, oh, you ain't got time for boys, you ain't got time for girls, stay in your books, stay in your studies. And they had time for boys when they were our age. They had time for
Mhm.
girls when they were our age, right? Um, so that's really important to have somebody encouraging you to have a healthy relationship to the best of your ability. Because again, it's like blind leading the blind. When you're a kid, you think you like it, you don't like it, you're finding your way of what it is that you want. But also that piece of respecting your role in the relationship, because I can't just expect the person to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm not doing A, B, and C. Like we never gonna meet in the middle if we not holding up the front end and the back end to come together. That's pretty interesting of that process. It's great that you had that. Um, but now you're saying you don't want to be married. Has that never been a desire of yours?
Never, ever, ever, never, never.
Mm-hmm.
Those who know me the best know that about me. Since I was a preteen, I have been saying that we would play house, we would play church, all that, and I was the career woman. I ain't had no kids. I was
Mm-hmm.
the rich aunt. I
Yeah.
was not. I was not the mama. I never played the mom. I never played. I might have played the grandma. I never, 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 never. I might have even played the dude at some point because I
You mean, but
just, no, and and now I just got out of a really bad relationship. It wasn't a bad relationship; it was a bad breakup,
mm-hmm.
and I lost somebody very dear to me who I was looking forward to having a relationship with this year. Um, and still, I just had to be upfront. So I still don't. I don't want to be married, right? You
Yeah.
cool with that? We good? We can do this. All right, let's. Okay. Because if you want to convince me, just know that it's a long rocky road.
Mm-hmm.
And if you willing, I'm gonna pay attention because you willing to wait for me, but you ain't. It's gonna take some time to convince me that.
And that's big because growing up, sometimes that is the expectation. Get married, have kids. But when everybody doesn't want to have kids, and everybody doesn't want to be married, and being okay with everybody being an individual in that of choosing what it is that they want for themselves. But others don't receive it well sometimes because that's not the norm of what they think should be happening.
And they
So
think
how
you're
do you
supposed.
combat that when people are saying stuff?
Mhm. It's. I've actually had somebody recently challenge me on that, and because they think that you're supposed to get married. And I don't see anywhere in the great scriptures where it say you supposed to get married. And the examples of most of the examples of marriage that we have in the Old Testament are, some of these great men had a bajillion wives. So if you
But
want me to be in a great number, you done lost it there, bruh. Um, but no, I just try to explain my view and why. I mean, because education is key. So if you don't understand why somebody feels the way that they do, you will continue to misjudge and probably inappropriately and probably hurt some folks' feelings. I'm very tough skinned, so it take a lot for me to get my feelings hurt. But I'd rather have conversations like this and explain it to you. We don't have to agree. But there's 8 billion people on the planet, and I don't have to be locked down to you for the rest of my life. I just don't think so. I would like to go meet a rich Sikh somewhere and somewhere over the rainbow, and have him call me cute and you know do that for a little while, get bored with him, and go to some part of Africa and become a queen. I don't know,
The sky's
but
the limit.
the sky is the limit, and I would like to meet all of these wonderful people.
Yes, yes. Now I'm sure it's heartbreaking to them because sometimes they're like, "Oh yeah, she this. I'm marrying her," and she's like, "No, slow your roll,
Yeah,
pump your brakes. It's not happening."
yeah, yeah. It's. I mean, I'm gentle with it,
Mhm,
but it's important that I'm always upfront at the beginning
mhm,
of a relationship. I have to let you know because I'm a dope chick. I'm a
mhm.
wonderful
You
woman,
are.
and I'm
You
a
are.
good one. You're
Yeah.
gonna fall for it, sir. You're gonna fall, and you're gonna fall hard, and it's gonna hurt.
Period.
So I gotta let you know up front. Like as soon as you start feeling them feelings,
Mhm.
we might need to part ways. Because I'm gonna tell you straight up, a woman knows
Yeah.
we want to continue with you, be with you for a long time, have a
Mhm.
relationship. A lot of times we lie to ourselves or we're
Yeah.
trying to take advantage of something. If we're being quite honest,
Mhm.
but we know
Yeah.
if we can see ourselves with you for however long, let
Mhm.
alone marriage. And I just know when I meet you, no, sir, this ain't going nowhere past the Olive Garden. Okay? This ain't going nowhere past the Cheesecake Factory. This
Yes.
ain't going nowhere past Restaurant Week, sir. So, but thank you so much for your effort. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's important to know because a lot of times they say like the guys know, but the girls know too. And it's up to both parties to be in alignment with trying to do anything. Because if only one person's on board, that other person string you along, and then you do get more of a heartbreak because like I thought you was no, this was just it's not going anywhere. You don't even brush your teeth. Whatever it is, that becomes your deal breaker. That lets you know, like, no, this ain't the one. And it is important to share upfront. So let's talk about that too. What are some other things you feel like is important about sharing upfront where people know from the door? Not to overwhelm them, but to let them know, a warning label, if so, of what they're getting when they get you.
I have to. Well, obviously, I'm a single mom, so that definitely has to be up front because he is an extension of me. Even though he's 15 and he could be left at home alone for a few hours, that don't mean I'm spending the night at your house, sir. So I'm a mom. I also always try to bring up my faith and my family because I spend great time with both. So, as a Christian woman, I need you to know I'm a Christian, sir. I've dated some wonderful Muslim men, but I had to let you know, yes, sir. Listen, you're not going to convert me. I know Jesus for real, and you're not going to convert me. But I hope we can remain friends. And actually, I still have some really cool friends. But we can't ever be romantic because that's just going to cause conflict in the future. I don't care how dope of a person you are. My faith really is a main, it governs how I live most of my life. Well, should be all of my life, but we working on it. But yeah, so my faith, my family is my child. I also now am taking care of my 93, almost 93-year-old grandmother. So my family is a dynamic because we are very close. My sisters are my bestest friends. So they know a lot of my dirt. So if I say no, you can't come over to the family functions or anything, that's because you ain't ready to meet these people. And I got to still build you up and train you before you can. You
Hilarious.
know they
It's real.
exist.
It's real.
Yeah, I can prepare you, sir.
Yes.
Those are the main things that I believe you have to be upfront with. I used to have deep conversations like, well, what do you think about abortion?
Mhm.
And that's like, calm down. That's not first date
Yes,
conversation.
yes.
Wait, calm down, lady. You
He's
ain't
like, I
got to
can't
get
wait for the check so I can run.
right. Like, get this meal first and then let's go in deeper. Get to
Yes,
know him.
yes,
Get, what's the favorite color? What did he do last week? Before you delve all deep into the man's deep understanding and politics. We ain't. I don't want to talk about politics on the first date. Let's wait till next month.
yes.
Get to know me first.
You tell me first. I think it's for sure important to make sure that our top priorities are approached early on because we'll hate for it to be some months in you feel like now you got to invest like, oh wait, you a Christian? Now, first of all, for them not to know you're a Christian months in, what ain't you doing where they know? Amen. Um, but like I get also like keeping like a child protected because you're not really ready to share things of that sort. So like you ease that in, or you have a conversations about what are your feelings on children. Um, I have one, see how it works out and things of that sort. I just have Cleo, a cat that's really non-sociable. She doesn't even let me touch her, so I guess I don't know. Um, but being upfront with what it is that's going on, so that
Yeah.
they have a heads up. They could be allergic to cats. I don't know. I want you to know. But it is important. I was watching this podcast the other day, and it was talking about compromise versus concession. And the guys were
Mm,
saying like guys compromise the most or concede the most because they just want peace. And I think it could go. Guys may do it more, but there are some women that do it too. There are some women and ladies that say, you know what, go ahead, it's cool. Because
mhm.
when I try to talk to couples or people that have the conflict, do you want to win
Yeah.
or do you want to be together? Because if you want to be together, you have to make compromise, figure out what works best for you to keep on going on. If you want to win, go ahead, but I don't know how long that's going to work for you because after a while, they're like, all right, you ain't the one. Then you're like, well, you ain't the one either. And then all that stuff. Um, but it was interesting in that because there's some standard things that you won't compromise on and being open about what that is. There's some things that you'll be like, I don't like, but then you find out, that's not too bad. Someone might say smoking. I really don't want smoking. I want you smoking in the house, smoking in the car, it gets everywhere. But somebody else might be like, all right, you just smoke outside. It get cold. They might not want to do that. Are they going to concede or what's
Right.
going to happen to
Exactly.
them? Um,
Right.
but it's so important to, again, know what your standards are and be able to speak up for what it is that you want and that you don't want.
Yeah. Absolutely. And stick with it. Be articulate about it and stick
Mhm,
with them. Don't
mhm,
waver. Just he's fine, and you're like, well, maybe I let him smoke inside this time, but
mhm,
no,
mhm. Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
just gonna cause conflict later.
Before you know it, it's like, come on, babe, it's cold out there. All right. What? Then you got a problem because then you can't stop it. That one time,
No,
and I'm saying
mm-mm.
smoking, but whatever it is, it could be anything. That's just one example, but whatever it is, really being able to stick to your guns. But the other
Yeah.
interesting part is even in the standards and finding out what it is that you like and that you don't like, it's an ever growing process. Because
Yeah.
today I might not like mustaches or beards, right?
Hmm.
But then as you get a little older, like, oh, you look nice and mature and manly with your mustache and beard. We're ever evolving and changing. So being open to the possibility that it's not necessarily a compromise, it's not necessarily you conceding, but it's like my wants, my likes have changed. Like some things you used to eat, you don't eat anymore because you don't like it. Some things you eat now, it's like, oh, it's not that bad. We are ever evolving creatures.
Absolutely. People change too.
Hmm.
Our characteristics change. Our
Yes.
personalities sometimes. You know what I mean? So giving people that freedom to grow and change and develop, and yeah, and allowing yourself to be the same way. I know I have changed. My
Yeah.
standards have gotten stricter because I have changed.
Hmm.
I have
Hmm.
had to work with some things. There's some things it's like I'm just not compromising. I may let you take me out because you know, nice. That was sweet. and we might go out. You might have gotten that privilege, but to be in a relationship with you, you don't cut the cloth, sir. So
Mhm.
I appreciate you, but no, big girl like to eat. I want to just eat.
And that's big too, because it's cuffing season, right? Because it's the cold months and things of that sort. And sometimes people say yes just to be saying yes,
Yeah,
knowing good and well it ain't it. But I'm going to be warm. I want to have somebody to lay with. I want to have somebody to, think that sort. And it's really important, again, knowing your intentions and being honest early as possible. Because everybody doesn't receive that very well. You be like, wait a minute, what? You say what? You don't what?
hmm
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Get my cousins on you, or I'm gonna do this and things that sort. We create drama that we don't have to create.
right. Because you were dishonest. That's
Was
why
I
I got to be
dishonest?
sure.
And also being able to call it what it is. Because they're like, I wasn't dishonest. I just you withheld it. You knew
You
good and
didn't
well what was going on.
details, right? You knew you ain't like that. Why would you?
You gave me the summary and kept stuff in between the lines and I ain't catch it. It's really important. It's really important. So in that, you say you just came out of a situation. Prior to the situation that you were in, did you feel like there was a lot of pee in the dating pool?
Um, so my dating experience is a little different
Okay.
because I've never really been out in these dating streets.
Okay.
And by that I mean people would approach me and I would be totally oblivious to like, oh hi. Like I'm not looking for anybody. When I say I be really trying to get my life together,
Yes.
I'm on a mission to handle me. So I'm like not paying, I'm oblivious to everybody else outside this little bubble, this box right here. And even with my ex, he randomly, I'm not looking for you. And I am a I forget what one of my friends called me a certain type of flirt. It's really bad because I am very friendly, very outspoken sometimes, I'm an extrovert. I can be shy, but I'm more of an extrovert. And so people will approach me just because I'm like that welcoming personality. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? And they just jump right in. And so people approach me. And that's how I dated the people that I dated in the past. I've never been out here trying. I take that back. I went on one speed dating event
Okay.
back in 2012. And I was like, let me just see. Like, I want to get back out here. And there are two people that I met that night. To this very day, we are friends.
Wow. Very nice.
We knew from that night it was never going to turn into nothing romantic.
Mm-hmm.
This very day. So that's 2012. So what is that? 12 years I've known these
Yeah.
people and friends. Like, I mean, friends. Like,
Yes.
all about who they dating because we're that kind of friends.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's why I hesitate. I've never been really in these dating streets for me to really judge like that. I don't really know what's out here, because I ain't paying these fools no mind.
Well, I will say the benefit though is that your personality was still open to be receptive to possibilities, right? And so many times people be like, yeah, I want to date, but they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
I will say I did the speed dating. It was like online. It was very interesting. A lot of different personalities. I was cracking up. Good conversation with a couple of them that it really wasn't anything.
Yeah.
But then you got the ones that's like it was one guy that was like a little cocky, like, oh yeah, you one of them types. I didn't even say hello. Okay, have a good day. Just switch. Let's just switch now. Um, So you do meet a lot of different personalities and things, or even like on dating apps and things like that sort. They're like, "Oh, you're on a dating app," and I was saying like the hope is that they're intending to want to date because they're on there, but again, everybody still have their motives. But the key is to at least try to be outgoing just a smidget and open to the possibility, because there's also times that somebody be trying to talk and like you're not getting it, you're just like talking to me and friends like, oh wait, you're interested. My bad. Okay, rewind. Let's um so just being open to the possibility, if you are trying to date, those that are listening, being open to the opportunity, trying to date that, going out to the different places. I know they say go to church, but sis, don't go to church all the time. Dang and dear. Or visit somebody else's church. You know what? I won't yeah, go to the library, go during happy hour somewhere. Everybody's going at the work to get a little nibble. You never know who you might meet. But expand your horizons, because some of y'all been going to church for years and feel like he ain't came. Go somewhere else. Go on a trip, like you said. I know somebody that went on a trip. They met somebody that was from Philly. You never know. But again, being open to the possibility.
Yeah. I'm a very open person, and I love trying new things. And I know that's one of the reasons why, for the relationships that I have, different people have approached me. They're all different. They all had wonderful, different personalities. They were amazing for their own reasons. None of them were meant to be my forever, but for most of them, I will probably be friends with until we die. Because that's just because that openness allowed us to establish something pretty good in the beginning, which I think is very necessary. Whether we get married or not, like, I don't want to ever leave a situation and it's like, I hate you. I have, but it's not the preference.
Yeah. And that's big too, because sometimes depending on how you leave a relationship, you take that baggage into the next situationship, and it could be good and bad. And blurry, because it's not the new person's fault. And sometimes that person then might have some triggers or some old things going on. And it's really important to evaluate. It's kind of like when you leave a job, you do an exit survey. What did we do? What could we have done better? What did you do? What could you have done better before going into a new job, so that you don't take that baggage and really giving a new job a fresh start, to hopefully meet your needs a little bit better than the last job did.
Yeah.
But it's not always easy.
No. And I'm sitting here thinking about my last relationship, because it's like it's not easy, and oh boy. And it was bad. It was a bad breakup. But I never let that deter me. I know that I've had some really good relationships, and people who we decided we can't do the romantic part anymore, but I will forever support you. I will be here. I'm gonna be at your funeral crying like, oh my God, because you were my friend at the end of the day. Especially if I were in a relationship with you and my son now cares about you as well. So that's a big, big deal for me as well. And I was anticipating a brand spanking, you know, new endeavor this year. And I'm heartbroken, but I'm not letting that, taint any new view or opportunity of, something amazing in the future. I may have to take some time and just heal and be by myself and get these emotions in order and everything I'm feeling going crazy, and before I can really commit to somebody, but I'm not letting it hinder me from another really good relationship.
That's big too, because nobody wants to always do that. I feel like I heal better when I got somebody else. But if I didn't trust some things, then it's just an open wound that still needs to be tended to. No matter how much I try to cover it, it's going to get exposed after a while. That person is going to splash something on and be like, oh, you burned me. No, wait, you got a scar that wasn't healed. What can we do to fix that? So that you can be able to move forward. But yes, for sure, it's a process.
Yeah, and it would be unfair to another relationship to bring something that you were not healed from. If I get into another relationship next week and all I'm talking about is my guy who passed away, what a disservice it is to this person. He could be an amazing, wonderful man, and I'm not healed from losing somebody who I really, really love. I have to take time and be honest about that. I know that you might want to take me out right now, but I am really not emotionally ready for that. I appreciate it. If you're willing to hold out for a little while, we can still, try to get to know each other. But please don't expect anything romantic from me because I'm still thinking about this one and I gotta put him in the ground this weekend. And I'm not, looking forward to that at all. That's a hurt piece.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's it's unfair to another opportunity as well to even
Mhm.
hold that.
Yeah.
Take the time and heal. Know that you need healing in areas. Now, of course, I've
Mhm.
lost my husband, but there could be other issues that you need to get healed from, past traumas and things that maybe you haven't addressed. Know that you have these issues and that you're working towards that healing. You may find somebody who's able to go on that journey with you. That'll be really, really cool. But be honest about that first with yourself and with them because you don't want to do them a disservice and not be fully present because you're still trying to heal from some things or you're triggered by some things because you haven't gotten over other things. Like just focus on that first and don't make it a process. Keep working on it. But take your time. It's kind of oxymoronic, but hurry up and take your time.
And you want to hurry up because you don't want to get stuck there. Like, even though it
Yeah,
is hurting, even though it is a process, you still don't want to get stuck there because you get stuck there, you can't get out, you
right,
know? So you want to keep actively working to do what you need to do to get out of that. I don't want to
yeah,
say rut, but that hole that sometimes it can cause you to be, and you want to remember the memory, bury it in a sense, but still keep the tributes of it that helps you to be who you are, type thing. But don't stay there because there's still more to life. And the person will want you to go on as well,
right.
but also taking the time that you need to where you feel at ease. Because somebody rush you, then you get a little stubborn, for like, I'm gonna stay a little longer, and then longer turns into longer, and longer
Right,
turns into longer. Uh, and we can miss out on some opportunities.
right.
Rather, whether it is another person or it's a trip or it's a place, a thing. It doesn't have to be a person per se, but we want to be able to enjoy all that life has to offer. Some amazing things, that life has for us.
Absolutely.
But that's pretty big. Being able to grieve of loss, a breakup, or the loss of opportunity. You know,
Yeah.
and we don't talk about it all the time. We kind of just roll with the punches and keep on going, hurting,
Yeah.
suffering in silence.
Yeah. That's one of my biggest things. I know I do that. And I'm working on it. Talking to
No,
you tonight is helpful.
and it's funny. I was like, this is feeling therapeutic, because it's also helping somebody else to tune in and be like, you know what? I had a bad breakup too, but I'm grateful that it broke up where it was and it didn't go further because sometimes we do see the signs when we should end something, and we think that maybe it can work out and things of that sort. Um, because nothing just happenstance. Just like it took you some time to get into the situation, it took you some time to find out you're a little bit more special than I thought you was. How we gonna
Oh,
work this out, or how we gonna work this out? And that's a process too because you feel like you put so much time in it, you invested in it, even though you weren't getting married, you had made that clear. We still had a good thing going, so now I gotta shift gears. Like, what does that look like? And then it's an adjustment of not having something anymore. It's like if you um were used to getting up and checking in, used to doing these different things, now you're not doing it anymore. That's a process. Like, wait, I got free time. What I'm gonna do with it now? Uh, Something for me and finding you again and finding that joy again. It is a process, and sometimes we are fillers where we just find something else to fill that hole, and it's like, no, but it's a little hollow. Let's really make sure everything is good and clean. And We don't always like it, I know. Or it doesn't always feel good. It is part of the process.
I'm in my process right now.
Yeah. And this is with friends too. Because I mean, we talk of dating and things that we've been in bed, but also our attitudes and beliefs when it comes to friends. Like, what does that look like? Are you going to have my back? Are you loyal? Are you honest? Are you trustworthy? Are you somebody I can depend on? You know, is it always all about you? Or are you concerned about me? And when we're going through those moments with relationships and things of that sort, having that support system to be able to like, no, something going on, sis. Let's talk about it. Let's process it. Or let's go to the movies. Let's go to Olive Garden. I'm gonna take it to Olive Garden. I'm gonna take a cheesecake. You know, where you kind of get out there, have a good time, to lift up your spirits. Because again, life be life sometimes, and it's not always a good life. And it's like, this is not how I thought it was gonna be when I was playing with my Barbies. They always got along, and none of them died. They always had their bills paid.
All
After
of
the
my
bill,
stuff
they
good.
Look, even when I played church as a kid, we ain't had no backbiting, no talking about nobody. Everybody loved each other. We all just loved the Lord, sang our songs, read the Bible, went on our day.
Between each other's legs, and that was it.
That was it. So
Then
real life has happened, and it's like, this is not what I thought it was going to be, and that's an adjustment. You know, I was talking to somebody. We were talking about how, as a kid, we didn't know. Lord, here we go. We didn't know the politics of life. I'll put it that way. So we are having fun. We're going to church. It's amazing. We're with other people like us. But as you get older, you get to know it's like, oh, these people really got different personalities that I didn't know about. God is really working on me and you. This iron is sharpening iron and ain't feeling good, you know? Our first jobs, we had no clue when we finally got a job that sometimes you got to bite your tongue because it ain't about you. It's for the betterment of where you are and you want to pay your bills. So as kids, we were really blind with rose-colored glasses of what the world would be like.
Yeah, no.
I mean, my Barbie was riding good in my sneaker, got everywhere she needed to go because I didn't have a car. We used a sneaker, you know. And in real life, you got to walk far in them sneakers, and everybody can't walk in your shoes, and that's another process too. It's not what I thought it was going to be. Is what I'm saying.
No. But we're here.
We're here, and we're figuring it out.
Yes.
You're like, we're here, begrudgingly, sadly, but gratefully, you know, because when you reflect on like the stuff that we made it through, it's like, okay, I keep on going. It stunk. It was hard, but we figured it out.
Yes.
We figured it out. And we are figuring it out.
We're figuring it out.
Yes.
Because when we get to our 60s and 70s and 80s, you know, we still wouldn't have figured it all out.
Yeah. Still figuring out and hoping that we're doing a good job with it, you know?
Yeah. And affecting a life along the way, helping somebody else on their journey. This is what I learned in my 40s, baby. Please, you in your 20s, don't do what I did. Here, take heed. Look at my example. This is my testimony. Don't do what I did. Don't have the mindset that I had. Let me tell you, help you along so that you get to the 40s. You ain't doing what I. Okay.
Couple. It's so important because I do some groups sometimes with youth, and I be like, look, enjoy being a kid. When you get on this side, it ain't no joke. You know, something go wrong in your own house, you gotta fix it. You're in an apartment, somebody else can fix it, but it's still taking a second to get it together. You gotta go to work or you gotta pay these bills because Mr. Bill is faithful every month. You know, they joking about Apple right now, talking about how Apple takes your money.
Yes.
I don't even know what subscription I got where they keep on saying Apple is now taking $6.59. Like, y'all only supposed to be taking $20 for that music and the games and the Apple TV. That should be $20, but God bless. God bless. God bless. That's more than Netflix, and I'm about to cancel that.
You are, there's only 18 years, actually less than that.
Yeah.
Where you are a kid. You consider a child.
Yeah.
Don't rush it. The rest of your life, you're an adult.
The rest.
And Lord be willing, it's a lot of years.
Yeah.
So enjoy those innocent times. My son is
Mhm.
15. He
Mhm.
still likes his certain things that other people would consider immature. And I said, I'm not harassing my son about these things.
Mhm.
I,
Mhm.
I am teaching him he's gonna be responsible. So let him still do his little Disney movies and stuff he wanna do because in just a few years
Yes.
he will be an adult
Mhm.
and gonna put away childish things and the real world gonna knock him upside his head.
Yeah.
It's going to be the real world and adulthood for the rest of his life. He's going to have more time as an adult than as a child.
Mhm.
So I'm not rushing the process at all.
Yeah.
Don't I get annoyed with people that rush these kids into adulthood. Why are you 12 years old and you babysitting other little kids to make money because you need money? I understand every family dynamic is different, but I just have an issue with our kids losing their innocence so fast. The world's already going to do that to them. We got to protect them at home. Keep the innocence. Yes, I want to teach you responsibility. There's certain skills that you should know, especially soft skills and life skills. I want you to know these things. But I'm not rushing you to take on the responsibilities of an adult. You and stop calling these 18-year-olds grown. They not grown. Oh snap. See, I got mad. I got let
But
me
they're not
calm down.
grown. I don't even want to say at 21 you're grown.
You're not.
Because you're still learning.
Exactly. My
Um,
daddy didn't let me grown till I was 25 years old
yeah,
and had bills in my name. He said, you don't own nothing, you
yeah,
have nothing of value, and
yeah,
you don't pay no bill in your
yeah,
name. You're
yeah.
not grown. And I
Mhm.
took that to heart. And I tell my son the same thing. You ain't grown. You may be an adult and you can smoke and or buy cigarettes and vote.
Mhm.
But other than that,
Yes, yes.
you learning this adulthood thing,
hmm hmm
but you ain't
And it's
grown.
funny. They
Grown.
have where they'll keep the kids or let the kids stay at the home a little longer because, I mean, we remember when we were younger just trying to figure out rent, make sure that we could, manage it. Rent is really expensive now in different places, and the salary doesn't always meet up to that. And then you try to get a roommate, but sometimes it's like the single white female roommate. You don't want that. So really allowing them to establish themselves before moving out, having a little cushion saved. And I think that's really an important thing. I lost my mom when I was 20, so like I was in school. So then I went back and finished school. The church I was going to had like a transitional housing shelter that I stayed at to be able to get myself together. Once I was able to save up money and things, I moved into my first apartment. But it was a process. One, living in that shelter and transitional housing, it was a lot of the walks of life that came in there. Um, I'm grateful for the experience for sure, but I still wasn't grown. I still was dependent and like leaning on God for sure. We're gonna figure this out and work it out. And then when I got my first apartment, I was like, oh, this is really nice. They was like, why you don't got your heat on? I'm trying to keep my bills low and things. They was like, you gonna turn this heat on. And it's funny because like you listen to the older ones, they be like, look, you live there, you be comfortable in your home. Yes, ma'am, we're gonna figure it out. Um, but it's a process. And when you can have that support of somebody to be able to lean on until it is time, embrace it. Embrace it
Yeah.
because you don't know it all. It's still times you need to call a mom or a motherly figure to be like, wait, I got this is happening. This is happening. I got this rash. Or how much season should I put in this? We always still need help
We
with
always,
something. So
always.
yeah, yeah. Don't don't rush it down here. That's what we saying.
Please.
What Sheriff said, Sheriff said, if I
I
could
was
turn
trying to
back
go back
time, man, man,
we try to go back in time.
if I could find a way. I don't know the rest of the words, and I do love you, Sheriff. Sorry, that's the only parts I know. Um,
If I could turn back time,
mm, mm, if I could,
find a way. Mm.
I take
That's all.
back all the, I don't know. But even in that, right, I reflect, if I reflect and I still I'm grateful for how stuff planned out right because I feel like I always say like, it stinks that my mom passed away when I was 20. But if she was still here, I wouldn't be doing some of the things I'm doing. It wouldn't be the same capacity. So I'm grateful for the strength that I got from it. I don't even know what Jennifer would be. I don't know that there would be a jenkares, a blended fab, a chosen counselors. Um, all that to say, even though it stinks, it's not how we thought it would be. Appreciate it because it helps us to be who we are today. Blood, sweat, and tears. More tears than we thought. More blood sometimes than we thought. More sweat than we thought. Sweat that ain't even take away none of these pounds, but God bless. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful in this process. So another question for you. So when growing up, what do you think, who were or what was role models for you as it related to being an adult, being a parent, relationships, dating, all those things? What was the stars for you?
So I have good and bad examples. I've decided as a child that I never wanted to get married. Looking at the marriages in my family,
I've heard this before. It's not odd.
it's so bad. But I looked and I heard, and I was one of those kids that was an observer,
Mm.
and just hearing things growing up from different family members and not gossip, not anything, just characteristics. And if things were another way, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't have married you and your kids might not have made it. And I was just like, oh, well, if there's marriage, I don't want it. I'm good. I'll be by
That's good.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some of the good examples were honestly from the little bit of television that we were allowed to watch. And I mean, the Huxtables are like up there. Um, TGIF, all the families on TGIF, Full House and Step by Step. And yeah, I love those dynamics of the family because some of them were adopted and some of them were there were different types of families. So that's when developed, an open mindedness about what family could look like, and what a good marriage might be because they were never perfect. They had their issues, but you never heard them say some of the things that I heard, um, not just in my household, but around. Um, so, which is crazy because they're fictional families. But I was like, more motivated by those examples that I believe it could be real. And then I would say, you're gonna laugh, but I would also say that the there's some I'm laughing, so you better laugh. The preachers, and I only mean that because I have loved and admired the first ladies my whole life.
Oh,
And I have always said I want to look like a preacher's wife.
mm. Okay.
I'll be one.
Okay.
Let's
Thank you for clarifying. Thank you for clarifying. Yes. Because they
I just
came
want
nice.
and they were like the most well-respected
Mhm.
women, and they were fly and the way they carried themselves. And then you hear all these accolades about them and the things that they were doing in the community and with their families and how they reared and raised their children and this, that, and the third. And they're such amazing women. I was like, I could be like that, but I don't want to be married. I don't want no kids. I just want to look like her. I just want the respect that she gets. And, of course, in my youth, my ignorance, all first ladies are different, but this is what I grew up thinking and believing. So those were the top examples for me. If it didn't come off of TGIF and if it wasn't related to me, I really, didn't really, pay attention to anybody else. Those were, because even the storybooks and all that stuff, they weren't as interesting as what I could see. So
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
I'm more of a visual learner.
Yeah. I was about to say. And I think people don't realize the impact that what we do see does affect. What we do hear does affect. Um, what we do read does affect our view and image of things. I went to school to be a marriage and family therapist. Did I see great marriages? I seen people cheating and cussing and fighting and things of that sort. Did I see great families? Shucks, my whole family, I feel like, little, I don't want to say dysfunctional, but I was born, I'm the baby. So like there's like a 15, 17-year gap between me and my siblings. We're like two different generations, So it's not as enmeshed as it could be because of that gap. But I still love them. I still wish the best for them. But we don't really all have relationships like that. But here I am trying to help so many other people have good relationships. But it also helps to balance to let them know too. If it doesn't work, you still will be okay because it works out, right? But the Claire Huxtables, and it's funny because like people be like, "Oh, she was bougie, she was this." No, she knew what she wanted. She had her standards together. She was that girl. And being appreciative of that, like you said, like TGIF, Family Matters, step by step, Full House, seeing how the guys could come together, 3 men and a baby, and 3 babies, coming together to work that out. There are families that are out there doing it and they're figuring it out, letting you know that you can figure it out too. People taking their children and not harming them. You can do it too. People having conversations with their children, not just throwing them off or not paying attention, but really good time is so important for us to do. Because our children don't know what to do when they become an adult because we're not really guiding them sometimes or giving them the input that they need or creating that safe space where they can ask those questions and find out what it is they need to know to be the best version of them. But TV does play such a crucial role, and it's interesting now that we're in a time of reality TV.
Yeah, Lord.
I mean, you can't get no realer than that. Some of it may be scripted, some of it is not scripted. But that's also, and then everybody can go live at a drop of a dime.
Yeah.
We don't have TJIF no more. We need that again. It made a difference.
Yeah.
It made a difference. It made a
It
difference.
did.
Some of the shows, they ain't it.
Right.
They ain't it. They trying.
I mean, they trying. Not hard enough.
Not hard enough.
Not hard enough.
And it's some shows that can get you in your feels and things of that sort, but it's not always what's catching the mindset of the youngin. So like, This Is Us. Now I had to stop watching after a while because I was like, Lord, they really pull on your heartstrings a lot. But they talk about some good topics that need to be talked about. So it's great for the population that's working and that's watching it. But if they're not then reaching back to grab someone in their family, we're missing the mark, We could watch reruns of Different World, Martin Living Single all day long. But we don't always have those shows now to really like help us to figure out the way. But all that to say, it's important what it is that we're watching, what it is that we're hearing, because it can affect our mood and things. We can feel like we're having a good day. You hear somebody arguing before you know it. Now you temper off. Like we pick up on those things. So it's so important to have those things. And again, it pulls somebody forward. Now I need to do a Moesha, sister.
We gotta do a spin we gotta something. Bring
and
it
they
back.
do try. They do try. I do feel like Insecure with Issa Rae, the Insecure. I felt like that was a good bring back of like some of the shows and things of that sort, because I feel like she talked about some good stuff, explored some good things. There's a couple other ones that's not coming to my mind right now, but there are some. It's just not how it was because this reality has taken over.
A pool to try to call the names of these shows.
Yeah.
They so far between.
Yeah.
And our kids are, here. So they need a quick, that's why I like the some of the reels that some of these motivational YouTubers and I don't know what are they called? They're not TV shows, but they're real. There's short little videos or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And they do the motivation, but also give you the examples of the family. Like, oh my God, what's the guy? Dar?
Yes. I like that.
No, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Those are wonderful. And I make my son watch those too,
Mm-hmm.
that are appropriate for him. But because they're like so motivational and take real life situations,
Mm-hmm.
but do a moral and in a few minutes
Mm-hmm.
segment, get to the point because that's their attention spans.
Yes.
Um, and some of us too.
Yes.
So at least we have some of those, but I feel like yeah, we don't have the shows like we used to, and I might have to pull some up for him to watch. He likes Full House
Yes.
or Full House
It's
now.
that attention span is real. They be like, stop, let me pray with you for a second. Your prayer is 5 minutes. I'm good.
All right,
Roll up.
Lord.
They be like, Father God, roll up. All right. But then you catch me on a song and somebody going in with an old hymn. I'm like, yes. You got to know your audience. And it's times that you will listen to it, but sometimes you're like,
Yes, yes, yes.
I also feel like they need to do better with these trigger warning posts too. I feel like I don't know that it's a trigger warning until it's too late.
It's too
Just
late.
saying, they expose you to so much. You got to be so careful. I'm scrolling
Yeah.
up, went from the prayer to something going crazy. I said, all right, let me go back to the prayer. Yes, God. I'm sorry, God. Yes, she's going to pray with me for a quick moment.
Right.
You got to know. You got to know. This is pretty cool. I appreciate your confidence and boldness to stand on what it is that you want to do with your life unashamedly, because so many people don't get it. And like you said, they do want to share or say something of what they think you should do. I remember I haven't had children yet, and somebody be like, you go to the sperm bank, or you could adopt, or you can do those things. And I was like, well, what's wrong with me that I can't have them naturally? Because sometimes people want the best for you, but don't always know what the best
Right.
is for you. You got to find it for yourself. And like you said, you got tough skin, but sometimes it's been offensive after you've heard it for so long, especially around holidays. When you gonna settle down, get a man? When you gonna have a baby? When Jesus say so, and they get mad at me then. I mean, I can't.
I
That's the
know
best
that's
I got. But also it deflects on me of like, well, how you doing? And then, it's those memes where they got the clap back. Well, when you gonna stop doing that because your husband da. I ain't doing all them things. I'm just gonna say when Jesus say so,
yes,
Um,
yes.
but it's really important to be able to stand on, what you say, stand on how you feel, because then people know she's not wavering. That is who she is. This is what you're getting, and it's genuine, and it's helping somebody else to be like, hey, I don't want that either, or I do want this. That's her story, but my story is this, and
Right.
I too can be confident in what it is that I want for myself. So again, I feel like you're just a staple of that, of the confidence and boldness to stand on business.
Yeah. I'm not out here all crazy, all willy nilly, and I'm not trying to convert a bunch of people to support my ideas or adopt what I believe and how I stand. But I do feel like if you're going to judge me, at least understand
Yeah.
what you judge. You
Mhm.
know, have a greater insight to
Mhm.
actually why it is that I believe the way that I believe,
Yeah.
before you critically start telling me what I should do and this should be this and you this old and this and you've done this and nah. You need
Mhm.
to understand first because
Yeah.
everybody is not the same and we don't have and all of us aren't called to the same thing. There are some
Mhm.
people they are to be mothers
Yeah.
and they got 12 kids and they love it.
Love it.
Ma'am, no, and God knew that. So I'm so grateful that He knew that about me.
Baby. She said, look, I'm gonna look like the first lady. That's it. We're not having all these children.
I just want to look like the first lady. I'm gonna find me a preacher's wife suit. I'm gonna find me one in my size. I'm gonna
You
find
know,
me one.
and kudos to first ladies, because they go through a little bit more than you think they go through, because somebody always want their name.
Yeah, I'm related to some, so I know.
Yeah. They had the story not so long ago where she was like, look, we can meet in the parking lot. People was like upset. She was like, she's trying to fight for her boo thing. You don't know what they've been through. Um, so hats off to first ladies that are holding it down
Yeah.
for their pastor. that everybody trying to get with. Let that man be. He don't want you. He married that woman.
Married.
Hmm.
Leave him alone.
Leave him alone. They got babies and everything. You know good and
Oh,
well you're doing wrong. Whew. I'm gonna get off that soapbox again,
that's
only
my
because like knowing
like them.
first ladies and their experience. So yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Lord.
so hats off to them is all I'm saying. What would you
Yeah.
say is the best advice you've received in life that you want to pass on to someone else?
Oh, the best advice? Um, put God first. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Put God first, and that's really where my heart is right now. Trying to put God first. I failed to do that in my last relationship, and I think that's why I got stuck the way I did because I was, taking advantage and doing what I wanted to do. And God is like, all right, now I told you I give you a way to escape, and you ain't taking none of these ways. And now you gotta do a little suffering because you was hard headed. So something I heard my whole life is that God will never leave you nor forsake you. And if you put him first, yeah, he just proves it every day. Um, I know you said just one, the best advice, but I gotta give another one, and that is to be your authentic self. Be you. I always say there's 8 billion people on the planet. And yeah, you're going to look like a couple of them. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of things in common with a lot of them. But there is nobody quite like you. And the world needs that. So just be you. I like the things about me that make me stand out and make me different. We are called to be peculiar people. I'm supposed to be different. You're supposed to look at me and say, wow, she's different. She's cool. It's something special about her. And I
Yes.
love people say that. It's a
Mhm.
great compliment. You different. Yeah, I'm different. I'm supposed to be different. Everybody wearing blue. I want to wear royal blue. Everybody wearing white. I want mine to be cream. Because why do I want to look like everybody else? Why do I want to think like everybody else? I have learned some of my most great lessons and have some of the most amazing relationships with people who I had nothing in common with people who we are so different. We came together to learn. I mean, some of the most amazing lessons, and I think my life is fuller because of it. I think I'm a more well rounded person because of it. I know that there is a weird person over here who thinks completely differently from me. And yes, I think they're weird, but I have learned some wonderful things about them, their resilience and their embrace of their uniqueness. I need that so that I can adopt that idea for myself and I can be unique in whatever it is I'm doing. That's just one example, but the idea is to be authentically you. Be you, and you don't know how you can affect the entire world. I want to be one of them people. I want the sky to go black when I die. I want the earth to quake. I want the trees to start to the roots start to grow up or something because they like, no, not her. She ain't go. Not this one. Because she was so fantastic on the planet. That's my goal. I said a lot. I'm gonna shut up.
No, that's all good. Because we get so caught up feeling like we have to be like this, that, and the other, and we lose who we are, and we find out, wait, that's not even what I like. That's not even who I am. And we could change up things. We could beat our face to the guys to look like somebody else, put on different hair to be Brenda, Tamika, Javon, Shafisha, whatever the baby's names he was saying. But if I can't be me, who I was created to be, I'm doing a disservice to the world and
Hmm.
myself
Yeah,
because I'm
absolutely.
unfulfilled. The world can't crank when I go because they didn't know who I was either.
Right.
But if I'm who I'm supposed to be, making sure that my light is shining,
Hmm.
doing the best I can with what I have,
That's it. That's it.
mm, that's good.
who knows how you can affect the world if you just be you.
Thank you for listening to the Blending Fab podcast. This podcast has been brought to you by our sponsor, Chosen Counselors. Make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already, and follow us on Instagram at blending_fab. Check out this snippet from our next episode.
Things we kind of knew, and we talked these things through. We knew what kind of school our children would go to. We knew how we would raise our children once we had them. We knew what kind of houses we liked. We knew what kind of budgeting we wanted for a house. So, all of those things are vital, because there's enough other little things that you may not agree on. So I'm glad that we knew we agreed on all the big things prior to, even before I proposed. I knew what kind of wedding she would like. I knew what kind of, so I was good with that. So, I mean, like I said, I see where people aren't on the same page. I have a friend that was engaged, and his wife's family came to him and said, look, we'll pay for the wedding, or we can give you guys like $50,000 to start your life off. Buy a bigger house, pay off because he already had a house, do whatever. And so he was like, man, this is a wonderful gift. We could pay off student loans. We could go into this marriage debt free. And she wanted the $50,000 plus for the wedding. And they did not agree on that. And he reluctantly went along with the wedding. And now they're no longer married. So, like, when I see things like that, it's like, you're getting that sign. Like, you have to know, and that's, and it's, I think even that time when I mentioned it to him, I was like, and his thought was, well, it's not a big deal. But yeah, it's a big enough deal because you feel this compelled, you feel this way, and it's just going to fester. And it did. And I mean, it festered because she knew it also festered on her end because she knew he wasn't happy with this, big extravagant wedding. And she felt that took away from her supposed happiest day. So, you have to be on the same page with those things.
Oh, goodness.